the Trump news is it looms over everything.
Yes.
You know, this guy Trump, such a huge character in like world politics at this point, and kind of
Thank you,
unignorable.
Dan.
Yeah, you're welcome, big boy, big beefy boy Trump. And look, honestly, the big news at this point is that they're coming after our boy, man. They're coming after the goat Trump himself.
The goat himself.
Yeah, they've convicted him.
He is a true goat. I even have a soundbite for that.
He's a true goat.
Yeah. Was he speaking about? No, he wasn't speaking about himself.
No, he was.
but-
I found that on a video where he was given some geezer like an award or something.
I see.
I think his name was Dan.
Okay, great.
So, and here's the thing with Trump videos, like you can go into like a 10-minute video of him just talking, and there's so many sound bites to be
yes,
taken from
absolutely
said video. But yeah, no, he got what? He's done for? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well,
D?
yeah, it's like what they can come after anyone these days who commits 34
My God, they can just go after
crimes.
anyone. By the way,
Yeah.
I ain't checking my phone. I'm always just, if you see me on my phone, I'm only checking the
live.
feed,
if you
folks.
check the live, just jump off the internet so we don't clash.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
what we decided.
Yeah,
to
look,
try to
guys,
do.
we got the whole setup sorted here.
I think
And,
that makes sense, actually. I like that.
I tell you what, with our beautiful boy Trumpy, you know, he kind of did do that shit. Like he did pay, because I think it was over that sorry Trumpy, but he paid the porn star Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels.
Yes, everyone remembers Stormy Daniels. A lot of fame, a lot of love
Thank you,
during the
Dan.
Trump years. Yeah, you know, she had a lot to say about the encounter, and for a long time it was just kind of a meme, and I think it is sort of a meme. It's funny, it's silly, it's classic Trump, you know, sleep with a porn star and pay her to shut up about it, basically.
So
And-
did the what do they call it? NDA? Did it like run out of? Did it just do NDAs run out?
I think there's a clause where basically, I could be wrong on this, so don't quote me, but with an NDA, it's like if it's to do with something that was potentially illegal, the NDA is null and void. And the reason that
Isn't that all NDAs mostly?
well, yes, a lot of NDAs end up being challenged for questionable, you know, legal standing. That's right. Yep. Sorry, old Trumpy. But basically, what was illegal about the payment was it was more so to do with the fact that because he was running for president, and him paying her essentially was like a campaign cost, because by paying her, it kept the story out of the news, and it was beneficial to the campaign. And it was something to do with the fact that not even necessarily that he paid her, but that the way they classified it legally was shady, you know, in order to hide it from the public, basically.
Right, I see.
And that was, I think, from my understanding of all the reading I've done, that was the core of the illegality in the situation here.
So he's done for.
Well, he got found guilty of all 34 crimes. Now,
That is crazy.
I mean, look,
of all 34.
Look, 34 is a lot. Like, that's a surprisingly high number, which, you know, to me, it doesn't mean that he's like totally innocent, that they made all the crimes up. It could mean that he did a shitload of crimes, you know, I don't know,
Yeah.
like, or he violated crimes in multiple different ways, I guess. I don't know. From what I understand, okay, our boy Trump, he is, you know, a grown man.
I'm gonna come.
Even further than that, he's nearly 80, right? And think about it this way. Any judge sentencing a criminal is going to consider their age, and they're
Yes.
going to consider, look, you know, as surprising as this is Trump's first criminal
Yes.
conviction. And so the judge is going to consider those things. And so a lot of people are saying, okay, he's going to go to jail. I think that it's, and I've seen a lot of people say it's very, very unlikely that he would get jail time based on his age and based on
Yeah.
the, you
Look
know,
at Harvey Weinstein, for example.
well, yeah,
That old geezer.
he's still fighting his shit in the courts, you know?
Yeah. It's nuts.
I will say the one thing that is quite funny, though, is that, I mean, there's a lot of things that are funny in this story, but he has repeatedly been punished by the judge for talking about the case, threatening the judge, basically saying things to the judge that put the judge kind of in danger. And he's been called out by the judge. He's been held in what's called contempt of court, where the judge is like, you need to cut this shit out. And the judge did say that they would consider like punishment, potentially jail time, if he kept fucking up the court process. Now, this was while the trial was going on. He hasn't been sentenced yet. That's still another like month and a half away. And so the question to me is, if Trump posts some really crazy shit about the judge.
We love you. You're very special.
If Trump's like, the right guy just needs to go and show that judge
he was a corrupt judge.
I think anything can happen at that point.
System.
If the judge feels like there's some real nasty violations in that sense, maybe he'll get some prison time, which would be so hilariously amazing. I mean, I couldn't think of anything better.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I
just think it's just not going to happen. I reckon they'll find a way to get out of it every single time.
I've heard people say that
every single time.
I've heard people say that like the conviction is the punishment, and it's like
right. I see.
I mean, I get that, but that's a bit depressing, right? It's like, well,
I've been seeing. I think it's like hashtag I'm voting for a convict or something.
Right,
like that's their new thing. It's like I am voting for a convict.
I'm proudly voting for a convict.
Proudly voting for a convict.
That's such a hilarious thing, because it's like, I feel like 30 years ago, that was just a universal, maybe let's not elect a convicted
Things are
felon.
certainly getting a little bit crazier out there.
People are
That's
desperate,
for
man.
sure.
They don't trust old Biden, and I get that. It's he's an old fart. Thank you. And so I understand being disillusioned with the...
Yeah, he is. No, he sucks. Like, you can't
government.
deny it. Like, it's just such a fucking messed up country.
I know. I think of America sometimes and I'm just like, wow, damn, I would not...
I'm glad I live in Australia.
Yeah.
Even
that's
England's
the easiest way
politics
to
are
put it.
fucked.
England's pretty crazy too. And they're going into an election, so that's going to be crazy.
So I think that I'm kind of glad
What
to
the hell
be
do you have to lose,
in
right?
Australia.
Okay, you know what's funny is that if our country did elections on the same time length, if Australia did the elections on the same time length that America did them...
What, every 4 years?
No. Well, we do ours every 5 years. Sorry. What I'm talking about is the campaign. The campaign runs for a certain number of weeks.
Right.
I believe in Australia and the UK, they campaign for like 6 weeks, right? In America...
Doesn't it start the year before?
Yeah. In America, it starts... It's
ages before.
It's November, and they've been campaigning since like the middle of last year, maybe a bit later.
Oh, so it's November this year.
It's November this year, yeah. So they campaigned for like a year and a half plus. And
that is insane.
Our next election
That's like making a movie and doing the press
the
tour
next
and
Australian election is in March, right?
Next year. Okay.
And if we had the same timeline, we would be like starting our election season like now.
When was 2020 our last one?
I think it was 2020 or 2021. I think we do ours every 5 years, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What bozo is going to come up now for Prime Minister? Oh, which?
Well, but this is the funny.
Which drongo is going to go up for Prime Minister of Australia?
I guess this is sort of the
greatest country on earth.
It's like by the time that America finishes their election this year in November, we still won't have started the campaign season. I don't think our campaign season would start until like early next year is when the politicians will start trying to run for prime minister. And so like our election season is so much shorter. They have so long to have to stare at these old decrepit fucks in Trump and Biden. Yeah, and it must be depressing as shit. I can't, I sympathize.
Or RFK.
Yeah, and RFK, yeah, we can't forget old Brainworm, President Brainworms.
I feel like it's so much more like, it's such a talking point in America, though, politics. Like here, we kind of talk about it when it's appropriate, and then we just don't talk about it.
Politics is much more like it's not as intense and not as crazy as it is in America. And
Yeah.
I think it also doesn't bleed into everything as much. Like, it's still a very political society we have, but in America, like I said, because their election seasons are so long, because like just so much goes on, you cannot get away from it. You can't get away from politics, you know?
Yeah, no. I feel like politics only really comes up during like family dinners and sometimes at work, like a racist tradie or something.
Right.
be
Someone
like,
who's a bit outspoken for
You know,
the
they
wrong
spent
reasons.
$200 on drones, right? And I'm like, oh, did they? That's great.
Oh gosh. Oh boy.
It's like, it's because it's fucking Labour in the government. They're ruining everything.